Hi everyone, and welcome back to Surviving the Love Bomb. My name is Emma Carrington, and if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. As I said, my name's Emma. I'm trained as a community services worker, and I'm also a victim survivor of domestic abuse. So the disclaimer is that I'm not a psychologist or counsellor. The aim of this channel is to share all that I've learned on my journey through my abusive marriage and coming out the other side on my way to healing, in hopes to be able to help anyone who's going through a similar situation. Today we're going to be talking about post-separation abuse. It's easy to assume that once you've left an abuser, you've also broken free from abuse. We know how difficult leaving can be, and that statistically leaving a perpetrator is the most dangerous time for a victim. The emotional and economic fallout of leaving can be beyond traumatic. So what if after all that you discover that the abuse isn't over? What if the control and coercion and the fear continues? Well, that's separation abuse. For most unhappy couples, the tension between them dissipates once they're in separate homes or soon after their legal issues are resolved. However, when you leave someone that's abusive and they no longer can control you and the situation's also out of their control, this upsets them greatly. So this is when they can become incredibly unstable and unpredictable. Abusers are guided by an entitlement and a belief that their children and their partners are possessions. Perpetrators who employ post-separation abuse can have different goals. It could be to convince the victim to return. It could be to continue to exert control or to prevent the victim from exercising her rights. It could be to exact revenge for whatever the abuser sees as the final provocation, or it could simply be to win and have the last word. Unfortunately, many abusers are not yet ready to give up their power and control after the couple separates, so the abuse continues. Victims may have to deal with ongoing issues for months or even years after their formal family law case is over, especially when there are children involved. So what does it look like? Post-separation abuse can come in the form of manipulation and threats. In the beginning, abusive ex-partners may be on their best behaviour, with the goal of convincing you to stay or to come back to them. The apologies and promises are a manipulation tactic to stop their victim from leaving. Sometimes the abuser will go to the extreme of blocking their ability to leave by disabling transport or by holding them captive. If that strategy doesn't work, they may also blackmail the victim, manipulate their children or relatives to get them to advocate on their behalf, or use various threats like to seek custody of the children, to abandon them, to cut them off completely and to disappear, or to commit suicide. They may also threaten the victim's life along with that of their children or family. It could be harassment or surveillance or stalking. Abusers may watch the coming and goings of their ex-partner and the children. The stalking behaviours may even seem like acts of love to outsiders. Things like sending flowers or other gifts, leaving notes on windshields, doing favours without permission, or constantly calling or texting to profess their love. When these things are not wanted by their target and this has been made clear, these acts make the victim feel violated and trapped and scared. The abuser may fit tracking devices to cars or make copies of keys and enter the home when the victim's out, or even install cameras in their home. They may contact the victim continuously despite the victim trying to cut off contact. They may begin contacting the victim's family and friends wanting information or question the children. Financial abuse and voluntary impoverishment. The abusive ex-partner may withhold maintenance or child support payments on unreasonable grounds. They may initiate unnecessary legal proceedings to inflate the victim's legal fees. They might find reasons to challenge or refuse to pay their share of joint costs. They could hide income or stop working altogether to avoid paying child support. They may also apply for 50-50 custody merely to hurt the partner, and so they don't have to help pay for their children's upkeep while in the other's care. Using systems abuse is another tactic. Abusive ex-partners can manipulate or prolong separation proceedings. They may make false accusations of violence parental alienation, or child neglect. They might break no contact orders or restraining orders. They may sue the victim for defamation or file complaints against workers and professionals involved in the case. They will basically do whatever it takes to make things as difficult as possible for their ex-partner and use the system as much as they can to help them do so. They may exert control through co-parenting. Abusers might make unreasonable demands for information regarding the children. They might demand that they have access to calling them whenever they feel like it, instead of sticking to a schedule. They might impose educational strategies that children have to go to a certain school, or challenge their ex-partner's parenting skills and decisions. They may withhold information about the child or manipulate and alienate the child from the victim when they're in their care. They may also impose on the victim's custody time or not bring the children back when they've agreed to. Post-separation abuse can also see an escalation of physical violence. In situations of intimate partner violence, and even at times where there hasn't been prior instances of physical violence, separation may increase the risk of serious injury or death for the victim and their children. Given the risks associated with separation, it is imperative to ensure that victims of intimate partner violence have access to safe places to stay and any other measures that could increase their safety and that of their children, as long as the danger persists. It is best to be in contact with a domestic violence support service at this time to be sure you have access to all the help that you need. This is really not something to take lightly. I know how hard it is to think that someone you've loved could do these things. It's common to believe it won't happen to me. He would never do anything so extreme. But in Australia right now, in 2021, 1 woman a week is a victim of domestic homicide at the hands of a current or former partner. That's 1 every week. That's not counting the children. That's not counting all the other tactics that we've been through today. You just never know what you're leaving could cause your partner to do. I don't say that to scare you, and particularly not to scare you into staying. I say it so that you're aware of the dangers and take the necessary precautions, even if you don't think you need to, so that you can stay safe. If anything I've discussed today has given you cause for concern about your own relationship or your own situation, please reach out for help. As always, if there's any way I can be of assistance in finding local resources for you, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is in the description box below, or come over and join our private Facebook group, Surviving the Love Bomb. If you're finding this content valuable, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and that way you won't miss any future videos because I upload every Tuesday. So until next time, please take care of yourselves and be kind to one another.